lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate, Uncut and After Show. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they premiere. There's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. Speaking of Patreon, I'm going to do a quick shout out to all of you who do support me on Patreon. So a massive shout out to Tom Herkins, Tina Baker, theflatearthchannel.com, Texas Mike, Skeptic936, Sam Hine, Sally Ballis, Rune Reinhardt, Qatar, Paige Love, Naibai, Michael, Matt, Life is Short, Kirsten Smith, Joshua Balsamo, Jeranism, God Rockin, Felix Hung, Fireball X, scroll up my page, Edwin Johnson, David Wayne Foster, David Rakia Gifford, Dank, Chow Young Cat, Burn Fat Till My Stomach Is As Flat As the Earth, Billy Highvault, Alistair Main and Adrian Quintana. Now we are joined by a whole bunch of people on both Discord and G+, so I'll raise the mic on all of them so you can enjoy their dulcet tones while I set up for the next live show. Or not.
Ha! Where's that Alan Bean knucklehead? So, how you get something from nothing?
Start a GoFundMe. And
Yeah, you would go there. You would go there. How do you get something from nothing? And how
hang
can
on.
you?
You can't get something from nothing. You have to start the GoFundMe. That requires putting energy in, doesn't it, Al?
No, you just get somebody else to do it.
Someone's got to put energy in, though, right?
Stop begging.
Not sure that counts.
He's relinquished his dig by just saying stop begging, so that's the end of that point. Thank you. Well done, Anthony.
Yeah, appreciate that. Now let's get to the next point. We want to know how you can because you're a fundamentalist materialist. So how can something come from nothing? Clown show. Stop rumpusing me. It's not going to happen. I'm going to tell you that right now. You have to tell us how something can come from nothing, because that's what you believe, and how ink, paper, and glue molecules can author technical instruction manuals and blueprints. Go. Yep. Typical ball-tard response. Like a
incredible
idiot.
It's incredible.
You're an idiot.
It's incredible coming from you as
You're
a
an
creationist.
idiot.
You think Noah
You're
is
an
600
idiot.
years old.
So answer the questions. How do you get
Stop
something from
talking over me. Stop.
How do you get something from nothing, clown show?
How did Noah get to live for 600 years?
How do you get something from nothing?
Answer my question.
Well, maybe the food was healthier back then, Adam.
What? 600
Alan, you do realize there's more evidence for Noah than there is for gravity, right?
There's no evidence for Noah.
He was literally signed on the stones that Ron Wyatt found for
no evidence for
the
Noah.
resting place of the Ark. Are you
There's
denying
no
the resting place of the Ark?
No evidence.
I'm sorry. The size of the ark wouldn't hold its own weight.
There is no
one at a
evidence
time.
for
One at a
Noah.
time. I can't
Yeah,
destroy you too much.
Is there
I'm
any
doing other
evidence
things.
of
Just one at a
flood?
time. One at
No.
a time.
No?
Well, I was the first one, Nathan. And I asked him how he can get something from nothing. Number one, it's a two-part question.
The magical
And how
sky whistle.
Paper and glue, shut the fuck up. And how ink, paper, and glue molecules can author technical instruction manuals and blueprints. Simple question.
My advice for getting something for nothing is, like I said, John, start a GoFundMe.
Yeah, listen to him. You friggin' clown.
Still requires energy going in the wall.
Oh, here we go again.
You get $600 for free.
Sorry, other than a cheap ad hom, is it that you can't answer it, Alan?
I'm not interested in anything John's got to say. He's a Christian
You're just here to get a few cheap digs in, then?
You what, Nathan?
Here to get a few cheap digs in.
No, it's just where John is. He's pretty aggressive.
No, I didn't mention John. I said you're just here to get a few cheap digs in, because you're not here to answer any questions in regard to the subject matter. You just want to have a dig at his e-begging, right?
Just here to catch up, really. How's the kids?
Is this how you catch up?
Fantastic.
What information are you actually gathering? You're just trolling us.
I'm not trolling you. You're not interesting enough.
I'm interested in the subject. How'd you get something from nothing? See, in the rhetoric of the globe, they divide by 0 and get the Big Bang, right?
Is this live?
So how do you get it from flat Earth then?
It's not live. No, I'm just interested. He's asking you where you get something from nothing, and yeah, your gag went over the first time. Second time, a bit less funny. This time, it just seems like you don't want to answer.
I'm not interested in anything, John.
That's what you said last time.
Go on, Al. It's a fair question. It's not as if it's a housekeeping question that we know you can't answer. What about some of the ethical ones? Not ethical. The what they call epistemological questions. How do you get something from nothing?
How do you think they do it?
They don't.
They don't, Al. They don't. They need to have something in the first place, and somebody needs to construct it.
You believe
So who
that you got something from nothing. You're a fundamental materialist. You believe that we can get something from nothing. You do. You may not even know it. You're that stupid.
Is that materialism?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Yep.
Well, let me just ask.
Something from nothing.
Yes, it is.
Let me.
Hold
Let me ask-
on. No.
I don't see how
Hold
that
on.
makes any material sense, though.
Yeah, a materialist. You have only two choices for how we are here.
Oh,
Either
right.
nature did it or it was created by an intelligent agency. Two choices. He
Nature.
chooses the first choice. Nature did it. So nature had to poof itself into existence from friggin' pre-existence. And he doesn't even know it. He doesn't even know that he believes that. That's what's scary.
I do know that. I know that.
Oh, you do know that.
You don't speak
No.
for me. You don't speak
Yeah,
for
I
me.
can't speak for you. I can't speak for you. There's only two choices. I can speak for you. If somebody says they're a communist, if somebody says they're a communist, then I don't really have to go into every single detail of what they know. I know that government controls education in communism, right? You don't have to say that.
Education in democracy as well, though.
Yeah, they do, right? But you don't have to say that. I already know that you believe that based on your position, right?
Well, John, why don't we just ask him? How did all of existence start, Alan? In your epistemology, in your understanding, how did all existence start?
Can I ask a question? Am I talking to a Christian?
Doesn't matter. It's not relevant. It's not relevant to. It's not
Yes,
relevant to the
Yes,
question.
That's
Yes,
a
it is. I'm
it's
not
a
gonna
genetic
waste my
fallacy.
time.
Let me just point out, that's a genetic fallacy. Doesn't matter. If I paraphrase the question, not being a Christian, it wouldn't make any difference to the question. That's a
I'm not
genetic
wasting
fallacy.
my time talking to somebody with blind face.
Then don't waste our time.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
the
the third
centrists all
time.
the time, and they've got blind.
Third time he's used that defense.
Tipping backwards.
One at a time. One at a time. Don't pile in.
Alan,
Yeah.
you talk to
Well,
you
wait.
talk to heliocentrists, right?
Wait a minute, Speaking Warrior. I asked him a question. Before you go down that road, let's ask him a question. My question is not relevant. Christians have to answer that. Atheists have to answer that question. Hindus have to answer that question. Buddhists have to answer that question. In your worldview, in your understanding, how did all of existence come into being?
Evolution.
You have to evolve from something.
No, that
You can't evolve from nothing.
Hold on.
Oh, wait, no, that's okay. That's okay. He said evolution. Now, evolution implies that something's occurring, something's changing, something's adapting. Where did that initial something come from in your worldview?
Where do you think it came from?
I'm asking you.
Do you not think over billions of years things have evolved?
No.
That's not the question. I'm understanding your perspective.
Stop.
Don't
with the look. I'll stay and talk to you, but stop with the insults. It's not necessary.
It's not me.
Oh, stop
I'm not
appealing. Just
insulting.
answer the fucking question.
Look at
Get
you,
down on the swearing,
angry
please.
old man.
Get down the swearing, please.
You're a disgrace to the armed forces, you, John. You are.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
just
you
starting the
Okay,
ad
let's
That's
talk.
not, hold on a second. That's not what my bosses said. My thousands of evaluations, honorable discharge, and medals out my ass. So how are you saying that, sir?
Because of the way you carry yourself.
Oh, I'll tell you what, your sister doesn't mind.
I haven't got a sister.
It's a concept.
Look at wow.
Where do you get something from nothing? Clown show. Answer
Wait a
the
minute,
question.
John. That's okay. He's not really truly said that. I know you can infer that from his specific worldview, but let's let him answer that question. You said things evolved. Well, for things to evolve, there had to be these things called atoms, particles, molecules. What do you believe that those things came from?
So you don't think those things can exist, simple cell structures like amoebas?
Proof reversal.
Oh, Jesus God. You can't even get to amoebas. You don't even know what cell structure is.
Sorry,
What are phospholipids? Hold on
indirectly,
a second.
sorry to interrupt. Hold on. He has indirectly answered the question. Where'd you get something from nothing? Well, he just conjured a scenario for Quantum Eraser out of nothing. And I'll tell you where you get something from nothing. You just invent it. Conceptually,
Can I
of course.
ask, John, did you just do a Mr. Grimby and go... Blah, 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 blah?
No, I didn't.
That Alan did that.
Oh, did he, Alan?
Did you like it?
Sorry, I thought it was John.
Well, now let me get back on this. Hang on. I think I'm trying to push him further back, and he wants to stay in evolution. I'm not talking about evolution specific. I'm talking about atoms, molecules, particles to begin with. Where did they come from in your worldview?
That's a tricky question.
It is if you're an evolutionist.
Evolution would need something to exist in order to evolve, right?
Oh, really?
4 words.
Evolution? What's
Guys,
that?
hello?
Exactly.
Hello? He said 4 words. Can you let him give a bit more of an expansive answer?
I'm always getting cut off. You're terrible. You're always rumpusing me.
Go ahead.
What do you want to know?
Where did it all come from in the beginning?
I don't know. Is my truthful answer.
So,
Wow,
well, no, wait, John. Wait, John. Don't. That's okay. And I don't know is okay. That's okay. And I don't know is okay. But here's the reason why. Under atheistic perspective, if I walk into a room and I see a dead body on the floor, the only option I have under atheism is that why that dead body's on the floor is natural causes.
No.
Why? What other means could this dead body be on the floor?
Because to deduct that, you would have to collect evidence.
I know, but there's only two. If under atheism,
No,
if there's no intelligent, wait a minute. If there's no intelligent agents for the cause of something, the only thing you can infer is natural causes. So you say you don't know. Wait a minute.
Okay.
You said you don't know. So technically, you can't rule out an intelligent agent. Can't rule it out if you don't know.
Well, as an atheist, I can see no evidence for your sky god. However,
I didn't even. Hey, I'm not even giving you my worldview.
No, I'm
you
not.
don't even know my worldview. You don't know it.
Well,
I'm just saying. I'm talking about agency. I'm talking about the reason for something to be.
I'm having a good guess. I can
So
find.
you're saying.
Hold on, Paul.
Go ahead. Okay. Sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, it's Paul I'm talking to. I can find no evidence for it, Paul. So, and if you would have been born in India, you wouldn't believe in the God that you actually.
That's a genetic fallacy.
No, you wouldn't. There's 200.
It's a genetic fallacy, Alan.
No.
It doesn't address the epistemological question.
Let me have a minute. There's 2,794 gods. You believe in just one of them. Why do you believe?
Have you ever heard of the regress fallacy?
Can I finish?
Regress fallacy. Yeah, go ahead.
Hindu gods don't all have
guys,
the same
give him a chance. He
scale,
needs time to build the straw man. Just let him have
They're
the
not
chance.
politicians.
Okay, go ahead.
So why do you believe in the one instead of the other 2,793?
Because I'm here.
Hang on to one. Because there's a thing called the infinite regress fallacy. If there's multiple gods, that means there had to be something that initiated even multiple god hypothesis. So believing in multiple gods would fall into the infinite regress fallacy.
But
You had to have an initial starting point. There had to be a initial cause.
Paul, I'm asking you personally.
Why don't I?
Why do you not believe in the other 2,700?
He just told you.
John, I'm not talking to you. Shut up.
I am
He
talking
said
to you, you
infinite
clown
regress
Joe.
fallacy.
You're
That
freaking
wasn't
red
right.
herring fallacy all over the place. Now answer his question.
What question?
Oh my God.
John, just put yourself on mute. You're so angry. I'm chatting to Paul.
did give you an answer though, and you just ignored it. So that's why he's getting annoyed at you, because he said it's an infinite regress fallacy, and always, they move straight past it.
What's an infinite regress?
Excellent. We're back on track. Go ahead, Paul.
Okay, I've heard it said on many atheists before, even an argument, like you could have, like example, like we could have been seeded by aliens. That's why we have intelligence. That's why there's signs of intelligence. Well, the next question would be, where did those aliens come from? Then where did those aliens come from? Then where did those aliens come from? You end up in an infinite regress. If you appeal to multiple gods, you fall into the same trap, because one God had to create another God, which had to create another God, which had to create another God. And you run into the infinite regress fallacy. So there had to be an initial cause, a prime mover, something that is uncaused that brought things into existence. So if I'm going to appeal to a so-called designer, I'm appealing to that one initial cause of everything.
But what I'm suggesting, what I'm suggesting is that your choice is cultural.
No, I'm not even talked about. Wait a minute, John. That's okay. He can laugh at it.
Argumentative. That's
Wait a minute, Arwen. Wait a minute, Arwen. I have not even described the nature of this God. You don't know if I'm talking Hindu. You don't know if I'm talking Buddhist. You don't know if I'm talking Christian. I've not even said that. I've not even described it. All I'm saying is there had to be an initial intelligence that was the first person to turn the key.
But you don't need to, from the way that you're carrying yourself. I can tell.
That's okay. You can tell all day long. But that's not the point. Your argument is that nature. This is actually, John is right, and you pretty much proved it. The only argument you have, under your perspective, is that nature created itself.
Yep.
How can something come from nothing? How can something exist before it existed? You have a problem out of the gate.
Do I?
Yes.
Told you he started to.
You think nature created itself, Alan?
Which means it had to exist before it existed.
No.
Exactly, like I said.
Really? That makes sense to you, Alan?
Yep, that's the fundamentalist materialist position. You got it. That's him. Look, he's looking right at you, Chocolate.
No,
look at him.
The problem that you've got,
it's from his culture,
is you can't accept the very thing that you use in Flat Earth quite a lot. And my answer is, we don't know.
You said you do know. You said you do know. Wait a second, Paul. You said you do know. You're an atheist. Define atheist.
No, I didn't. I said I don't believe in any of your gods.
You said you are an atheist. Define atheist.
Look it up, John. I'm not
you can't even tell us what you believe.
Wait. Yeah. Hang on a second, John. Hang on a second. Let's go in a different direction. Okay, you said you don't know what started it all.
No.
Okay. You said you don't know. You automatically reject any kind of intelligent agent whatsoever, correct?
I do.
Okay, but you said you don't know. But let's just beg. I'm gonna just bear with me and just beg the question slightly. If there was an intelligent agent that created all of existence, what from just that initial understanding could you derive from the nature of that being?
What could I derive from it?
Yes.
That it's an incredibly cruel, vicious.
That's not. No. I'm talking about the creation. I'm not talking. You're looking at what's going on at the moment.
Well,
the moment. Okay, but that's a different question. Your question is very different. The question I'm asking is very different than you're looking at the state of things that are. That's a different question. You're looking at the moral argument. We can get into that eventually, but right now I'm talking about the creation event. The creation. What can you determine if there's an intelligent agent at the creation event? What can you derive from that being?
I can't, because I don't believe it.
I can derive a lot of things, and I don't even have to say what it is. He has to be intelligent because we see information everywhere, and the only information can come from intelligence. He has to be extremely powerful, which means to have the vastness of this existence, he has to be very powerful right off the bat. So I've derived two natures of this being if he brought it into existence just from existence itself, and I'm not even talking about Christianity, Islam, Buddhism, anything. But see, you reject that premise that there cannot be an intelligent agent. You said you don't know, but you reject it out of hand.
Yes. I see no evidence for it.
Existence is evidence.
No.
You can't get something from nothing. You can't get something from nothing.
Let me ask a question, please. I've waited ages and I want to ask. Al, if you don't see any evidence of creation, do you accept that DNA as a concept or as an actual thing exists?
DNA does exist, yeah.
And do you agree that the amount of information that's in just one strand of it is huge?
It's incredible.
So the code that goes into DNA and the form that it's put into, how does that DNA code go into the DNA if there isn't a creator?
Are you suggesting that somebody programmed that?
Can you explain how the code falls into a sequence that that results in a human resulting from it in 9 months' time? How does that happen if it's not by some form of intelligent design?
Why would you suggest, what part of that process suggests that it is?
Because it's got information in it.
Yeah, information. There's a code. So if you get the sequence wrong, then you're going to get a deformed baby, right?
That's not true, Tony. DNA and RNA.
Right. I was cautious. I was cautious for a real reason, right? You understand
that? This guy's talking about DNA and RNA. He doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. You're talking out your ass. What is DNA?
I don't need to explain things to you, John.
Yeah, what is information? Right. Hold on. What's information?
Information could be something as simple as ones and zeros in a long sequence.
No, that doesn't make information. Those are numbers. It's the mind. It is the consciousness that turns random shit potentially into data, into something that has a meaning. It is the conscience.
How do you read those ones and zeros, Alan?
It's man-made. It's a man-made construct of what we understand DNA and RNA to be. Man-made that, pretty much like
man-made DNA, huh?
Man-made DNA, bro.
The understanding of it, the sequence.
So you think men are self-made?
Instead of trying to catch me out,
Arwin, hold on. I want to hear Alan. Sorry.
Instead of trying to catch me out continually, why don't we just have a conversation?
Okay, I'll get it back on track. Man-made. Hold on, Alan. I can get it back on track. No problem. My apologies on behalf of the other panel members. Man-made DNA, you say?
No, the sequence and the understanding of it is man-made. The understanding of it, yes.
So you're saying the information... So hold on. So you're saying information is the man and his understanding of that information?
Yes.
So that's a intelligent agent then?
Paul, go on mute.
Hold on.
Sorry, okay. I'm working on it.
So that would be an intelligent... So without the intelligent agent, there is no information, Alan, correct?
He's talking about the intelligent agent that Tony's suggesting coded the DNA.
I'm asking you.
How did the code?
I'm asking Alan. You tell me. No, you tell me. What? You tell me. Are you suggesting, as it seems you are, that without the intelligent agent, there isn't any information?
There's no intelligent agent. Evolution.
Well,
so where does the code come from? How does the code format get put into the creation bit if it's not done by
evolution, Tony?
No, evolution doesn't have consciousness.
Just hold on.
Don't tell me you've just knocked on your table. Didn't you all heard that? He knocked on his table to get out of that, didn't he?
Yeah. Clearly not a knock in the distance as it comes through his distorted voice changing machine and as it breaks down.
You just see, folks, everyone that just listened to this for the past 10 minutes, you've seen the position that every single atheist crayon muncher is in. Every single one of them have his same problem, and they all do the same thing. I don't care if they're a PhD microbiologist that's an evolutionist, acts the same way as this crayon muncher right here. You just witnessed it. Thanks.
Sorry, just took a delivery of wine.
Let me ask you another question, Alan, since you're back.
Okay.
Okay. What if you were to discover that there was a creator? What would you do?
I'd be amazed.
You'd be amazed, really?
Yes.
Why?
Because, as I said before, I can see no evidence for there being one. I think it's the biggest form of control over the human mind ever invented. And I would be amazed if there was one.
So you believe, wait a minute, so you believe initially that there was nothing, no space, no time, no void, no energy, no nothing,
what I said,
and then all of a sudden it came into being. Is that what you believe?
Don't put words into my mouth.
That's what I'm asking you.
What I said is, we do not know.
So your position is based on an argument from ignorance fallacy. There's two things we do know. One, the universe, whatever that may be, was created.
No, it wasn't.
There was a creation event. Yes, even your own pseudoscientists priests say that, you freaking clown. Number two, there's only two choices. Either nature created everything or an intelligent agent did. There's only two choices. Like I said before, this is where we started. Right? So how do you get something from nothing?
Just hold on.
Alan, where did you get the ability to think and not believe in a creator?
Not from the creator. As I said, who's got the mind? Is it Paul?
So you think your thoughts, your consciousness came from nothing?
Consciousness evolved. Do you think dogs have consciousness?
Oh, God.
Well, wait. Having defined consciousness, what does that mean? When you say consciousness, what do you mean?
Well, can I talk to one person at a time before you all jump in and let me get to a natural conclusion? Have you ever seen a dog walk past a piece of art and contemplate it?
Explain to me this, Alan, real quick.
See, you never answer anything. All you do.
How would you know they would?
No. Well, wait a minute, though.
Maybe they
because
do.
They don't, Owen.
Oh, really? How would you know? How would you know that when a
dog's
creature looks
smarter
at
than
something that they don't think certain things?
Because they don't.
Wait a minute, though.
That dog is smarter than you, Alan. I'll tell you that much.
Wait a minute. I will address the dog, but let me address something else first. If you're right, and that we're just a bunch. I mean, do you believe that basically we're just a bunch of chemicals interacting with one another?
Yeah.
So how can chemicals contemplate?
It's amazing. You're asking a really big question about what consciousness is, where it exists, and how it come about.
Well, you should know. You're a materialist.
Well,
sorry, guys. Sorry.
Some kind of connection that makes it
You should
real.
know. He should know. Hold on a second. He should know. He's a materialist.
Well,
You should know. Tell us.
Seems like there's a missing link in your model there.
When everybody's going to interrupt you, show some respect.
You should know. Respect for you.
I'm not.
What should we respect?
I'm not.
What should we respect? What should we respect, Rumpus? Shut your clown mouth.
Look at you.
You said that nature pre-existed, then created itself from nothing. You want respect?
Yes.
A damn primary school, nursery school wouldn't respect that. They'd laugh at you.
You're a disgrace, John.
Yes. Yeah, I know.
Well, let me address it then, because I'm sorry, Lily decides to say something.
I'm just curious. So your thoughts to you, Alan, they're like there's something natural. There's something that could come from nature. Your thoughts, your ability to think, that came from nothing.
Yes,
that's what you're saying.
Amazing.
How could that come from nothing?
Evolution.
Wait.
Any real world example?
let me come back in because I got loaded to calm down for a second.
Come out of nothing. Do you have any practical examples?
Oh, shut up.
Just let me address Alan, since he doesn't seem to get mad at me. Okay, well.
Yeah, but I did try to ask him a question.
No, go on, Chocolate. I think I answered. I answered for you, didn't I?
So your thoughts, you're saying that just can come from nothing. Do you think it's natural?
Well, let me ask you a question about that, Chocolate. Do you think a thought into action, or does it just appear?
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live. There's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the nature of Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel, so please share the show. And one last time, if you're new to the channel, or you've not done so already, how dare you, then be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. Now we're joined by Sleeping Warrior, Righteous Force, Paul, Quantum Eraser, Chocolate Sane, Arwin, Alan B and 10th Man in the Google Plus Hangouts on Air, or just Hangouts I should say, and we're also joined by a whole bunch of people in the Discord server. Now the conversation, if you've tuned in, or this is a continuation of the premiering show and you're watching this on Nathan Oakley 1980, then this has obviously been going on for a while, which is why I'm not going to introduce the guests individually, but rather just introduce the show and then let the conversation continue organically. So I'll introduce them once I get a little gap, and you can enjoy their dulcet tones, and hopefully this conversation will progress throughout the live show.
Cool. So what is supernatural? Trying to trip you up. A grade schooler could do that. Tell us, what is define supernatural?
Don't answer you. Chocolate, carry on. This guy's a jerk.
Define supernatural.
You define it.
I got a better word for him. It might not rub against his sensibilities too bad. Do you believe in immaterial things, Alan?
For example?
Your thoughts is thoughts is immaterial. Logic is immaterial. Freedom is immaterial. There's a lot of things in life that we utilize that are immaterial. Do you believe in immaterial things?
I don't know if I'd describe those things as that.
Then how would you describe them?
Well, see, you're describing things as immaterial, which to me either means two things. It means unimportant or spiritual rather than physical, yeah? So you're going with the second one, spiritual. Yeah.
Well, you can say spiritual. There's a lot of synonyms in this phrase. There's spiritual, there's supernatural, as John would say, there's immaterial. And the reason they fall in those categories is they can't be quantified. You can't, like Chocolate was saying, I can't weigh my thoughts. I can't tell you the color of my thoughts. I can't give you the energy distribution of my thoughts. So they're immaterial.
No, you're using the wrong word there.
How? How am I using the wrong word?
Because if you look up immaterial, it will tell you it's either unimportant or spiritual rather than physical. You're using the wrong word.
He's using the second part of it, you clown. You just said he was using the second part of it. So why did you state the first part? Immaterial.
No, John.
Immaterial lacks chemical formula, structure, charge, mass, momentum, or spin, or millielectron volts, kcals, or kilojoules.
Thinking about
that's what it lacks. So
thinking
the
about
material clown show,
not spiritual.
The material is physical. The immaterial is non-physical.
Well, wait a minute. We can use spiritual. Would you use spiritual as a good word to describe those things?
If you were to sit in an MRI scanner and we tracked your thoughts and we mapped them, would they not cease to be spiritual?
Oh,
define spiritual. Wait, that's okay, John. I'm trying to go somewhere, and you rumpus me, okay?
Well, get there for crying out loud.
I'm a little bit more patient than you, John, and he may have had a history with Alan. I don't.
Hold on,
let
me
just
take control, Paul.
built up.
Paul, hold on. Huey, just let him get to the end. You're ruining his point completely. Go on, Paul.
Okay, an MRI machine. What is it doing? What is it measuring?
It's scanning brain activity.
Okay, is the brain, the matter, the chemical processes occurring in the brain the same as the thoughts of the brain?
Oh, difficult to define.
Example. The reason I say that is...
Hold on, you didn't answer. Hold on.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You just said difficult.
Sorry.
Just let him answer first.
No, Paul's okay. I can chat with Paul. He's quite. You go ahead, Paul.
You didn't give an answer.
I mean, if you want to finish your thought, go ahead.
But you didn't give an answer. You didn't give an answer, Alan.
I said it's difficult to find because I don't think I know enough about the actual tracking of various thoughts, various emotions, what areas they light up, and so forth.
Nothing tracks thoughts, for goodness sakes.
All the MRI machine does, this is what John's alluding to, it's just tracking the chemical processes or the electromagnetic whatever frequency is going on in the brain, not tracking actual thought.
No, but I think you're incorrect there because it can track excitement, engagement, and things like that because it lights up different areas. So therefore, by definition, it can track certain kinds of thought. Yes.
You're out of
wait, John. That's okay. I can write the word excitement on the wall with a pen, piece of paper, or ink and paper, and I can also be thinking of excitement in the brain. They both represent the thought that I'm having, but they're not the thought.
Well, no, of course they're not.
Okay,
so conscious.
So thoughts are not material. That means they are not made of things. They're not made of...
Yes, they are.
Weigh them for me. Show me a thought.
Why would an electrical impulse carry weight? Weigh electricity, for example.
Well, I can...
in electricity?
What the hell?
Hold on.
What the hell are you talking about?
Hold on. You gave us an example earlier when I asked you what information was, and you said a string of ones and zeros.
In DNA, yes. Well, I think it's 7 letters in DNA, isn't it?
You said ones and zeros, but I was just going to ask for the weight of that.
For the weight of?
The ones and zeros you gave me as the information.
That's what I was trying to explain there, Nathan, was that the understanding is a man-made construct in which we understand those models.
So
we're not talking about the understanding of it.
Well, wait, that's okay, John.
Crying out loud.
John,
this is non sequitur.
That's okay. All the things that we were talking about, the ones and zeros, the letters on the board, the MRI images are conventions we use to communicate something. But that doesn't mean what they're communicating is the same as the means by which they're communicated.
So how in MRI do they manage to break down that into kind of like 40, I think it's 42 different known areas, and different colors and locations and size?
That's just the way we measure what we see going on. That doesn't mean it's the same thing.
But they can pick out certain words. So, for example, if you were thinking of a word like shop, and then you constructed a sentence that said, I went to the shop last Saturday in the rain, they can pick out the word shop from that map.
Well, I can type the word shop in my computer. I can type the word shop in my computer, and it's a representation of something.
Of course it is. I'm not disagreeing.
So that's no different than what you're describing. It's no different. It's just a convention.
No, what I'm saying is they can track and map thoughts, words, ideas, areas, and you're saying, what weight is that? It seems crazy for an electrical impulse that can be photographed happening in the brain with evidence.
Well, do you know, Alan? Wait a minute, Alan. I can send you an email, and do you know the internet can track that email and the route it took to get to you?
Sure.
But is that the same thing as the information I sent you through the email? Just because you tracked it?
I think you're missing the point.
No, I think I understand the point very well.
If you were to send me an email and it went through an MRI scanner, I would be able to read it.
Oh my God.
The information that you have in your head that gives you the ability to be able to read that email.
Yeah.
How much does that weigh?
What's weight got to do with anything?
Well, you're saying it's material.
Right, you're saying it's material, precisely, Chocolate. That's why we're asking you to give it a physical attribute, not necessarily weight, anything. You know, molecular spin, you could give it that.
I've suggested the MRI, you can see a scan of it.
Yeah, and you said they can track. So just one more thing, and then I'll let Paul take back up. Sorry, Chocolate. But who are they? Are these the intelligent agents again?
No, if you look up a white paper on the Carnegie Mellon University site, there's an article on there, and there's also one, quite interestingly, on tracking, using lasers on people's throats to detect movement for what they're thinking as well. It's quite interesting.
Yeah, I'm asking who they are. I'm asking who they are.
At the Carnegie Mellon University.
Yeah, and they are a group of intelligent agents, by any chance?
No, a group of scientists that have gone through decoding complex thoughts using MRI.
Otherwise known as intelligent agents.
You what?
Otherwise known as intelligent agents. In order to have this information, you needed the intelligent agents.
Oh, when did you become a creationist?
I'm not a creationist. Far from it. I'm pointing out that you need the intelligent agents. They tracked this information. And Paul's trying to lead you to the point where you accept that in order to have the information, you must first have an intelligent agent.
To not only read the information from the MRI, but to have the information in the first place to read the information from.
And also,
it, Alan?
And the next step, and also that as well, and it shows that the information is immaterial because I can take that same information and translate it and put it into word form, not just the image on a screen. I can translate that into a word form paragraph describing what I see. So the information is still there, but it's taking different forms of how it's communicated.
So where did the information come from in the first place?
I've already answered that question lots of times. You believe in God, I'm fine with that. I have no problem with you believing in whatever you wish.
Where did the information come from? It pre-existed before it existed, then poofed itself into existence from nothing, right? Is that that's your position?
Yeah, there's now the juxtaposition given nice concisely from QE, Alan. So at the end of that little path that we went down, the end conclusion is without the intelligent agent, there is no information. So when we're asking where the information come from, you're describing a they in every example, correct?
Well, I'm talking about people doing MRI scans.
Yeah.
So
well, do you want to give me... Okay, I get that. Give me any example where there's information and no intelligent agent. Go.
No intelligent agent. Do you think... I will reverse a little bit on this. Do you think evolution and nature has a will?
Sorry, I just want an example of information without intelligent agency in any way, shape or form. The reason is because at the start of the religious zealot assertion that everything came from nothing in a big bang that gave rise to a heliocentric system with a sphere in a vacuum, That starts without any intelligent agency. But every example given so far has an intelligent agency at some stage. And I'm asking now for any example at all that doesn't have that. Can you give me that? Like the beginning of your religion, in other words. Any example that is in any way related to the beginning of your religion where we don't have that. There's no intelligent agency, unlike all the examples you've given.
I don't have a religion.
Oh, yes, you do. You're the most religious person on this panel.
No, you are, John.
Yeah, you are. Go ahead and answer his question.
You're the most religious person. You believe that man can live for 600 years.
Answer his question.
I don't have to. What's the question, Nathan?
Can you give me any example, given that every example thus far has come alongside with an intelligent agency as part of the example, is there any example that does not have that but also has information? Can you give me any example that doesn't involve an intelligent agency but has information?
That's an interesting question.
It is, and it's technically not my question. It was the first question you were asked here by John. Do you want to repeat your question that you asked right at the start, please, John? Ink, paper, and glue.
Yes, that's in the same vein. I said that you believe that ink, paper, and glue molecules can author technical instruction manuals and blueprints. Same question.
Otherwise known as information.
That's not material.
Give him a couple more seconds. Excellent. So in conclusion, without an intelligent agent, there is no information. And the start of the heliocentric paradigm starts with exactly that, even though there are no examples that can be given. And there aren't. It's not just Alan. There won't be an example given that doesn't have an intelligent agent somewhere along the line.
Yeah, it's quite a big question, that, because in trying to understand nature and the workings of intelligent systems within it, that's a really big question.
It's got an answer, though. It just flies in the face of the heliocentric assertion that we can get everything from nothing, which is ultimately where we started this conversation.
Those thoughts that you're using right now, Alan, to try to work this out in your brain.
Send them. Don't worry about that.
Right.
That's kind of self-deprecating, isn't it?
I'm just jesting, bringing a bit of light humour to
Many a true word, Alan. Many a true word.
Like to the proceedings. It's a big question. It's a really big. It's one I'd like to have an answer for.
We've given it you. Without an intelligent agent, there is no information. The start of the paradigm for the heliocentric spinning ball space monkey religion is exactly that.
No, I disagree.
Yeah, they get everything from nothing, don't they now?
I disagree because, if you look at the human body in nature, there's a lot of stuff goes on that,
Where'd you get the human body?
The red herring.
It evolved, John.
Oh, that's it. That's his answer. Evolution. He doesn't even know what it is. What the hell is evolution?
What do you think it is?
That's a good question.
Yeah, see what I mean?
That's a good question. I don't mind. Alan probably give us a good answer to this. What is evolution exactly?
What do you think it is?
I don't know. I literally don't know. That's why I'm asking. I'm not being facetious. I'm literally asking you.
You do now.
No, I don't. I don't. Honestly, I don't. I'm not lying when I say that. I'm not being facetious. I'm genuinely asking, what is evolution?
So you're not aware of any, you were never taught about Darwin?
Darwin?
Darwin, that's a person's name. What's evolution?
And a sock troll in chat.
How about Pierre Teilhard de Chardin?
Who? That's another dude.
Who remembers that Jesuit?
The dude. Hold on. The question on the table, Anon, is what is evolution?
Well, evolution is the change of characteristics of a species over several generations.
Well, that doesn't happen, though.
Really?
That doesn't happen.
It does.
Hold on. Let me take this. Okay, is that the scientific theory of evolution?
You asked for the answer. There's the answer, John.
Is that the scientific theory of evolution? The change in characteristics in a convention over time?
No. The answer was evolution is a change in characteristics of a species over several generations and relies on the process of natural selection.
Oh, okay. So that sounds like a scientific theory. So to have a scientific theory, you have to have a cause and effect. So what is the cause? You said change. Change isn't a cause, son.
Good grief.
Yep. For you.
Well, even in that, even if change is a thing,
Hold
like
on
my
a
wife.
second.
Sorry.
Hold on a second, Paul. He didn't answer the question.
Paul, don't disagree with him. Don't you dare.
It's not a disagreement.
You've all got to fall in line with.
He butted in.
Paul, you
I
set him
asked
off.
you.
Fall in line.
Yeah, Paul set him off. That was your fault, Paul. I'm blaming you.
Okay, back to the question. Is that a scientific theory? If it is, then give me one hypothesis that was confirmed by experiment, please. Right now.
Do you want an independent variable, John?
You betcha. Clown.
No, let's not start. No. Just a quick summary. The question on the table is, if your claim of evolution being this change between species, then is this validated scientifically or not?
No, I said change of characteristics in species over several generations.
My apologies. And is that validated scientifically or not?
Yes.
It is. Is that a yes?
Yes.
Excellent.
Science the shit out of it.
My bad. I interrupted. Over to you, QE.
Give us the hypothesis, please. We want the independent variable and the dependent variable. The experiment's coming right behind it.
Just Google.
So give it to us.
Google it.
Google. That's an elephant hurling fallacy. Give us the hypothesis right now.
Just Google it.
Google what?
Friggin'
This is your
clown.
claim.
You
Look,
can
hold
Google
on.
yourself.
Let's take control again. No. I said I don't know. And now we've got a claim from you, which hopefully you'll support or will dismiss entirely because it's not backed by any evidence.
So you don't believe in natural selection?
I don't believe you've backed your claim with any evidence. Are you going to?
I said Google it.
Yeah, that's not you. Your claim, not you backing your claim. Now you see.
Natural selection's a reification fallacy. Nature doesn't select. It doesn't have a mind, you freaking clown. So answer his question.
Nature doesn't select. You don't believe in natural
That's right. Nature doesn't select. Select infers a choice. Choice constraints. Nature doesn't think of something and then choose. It's a reification fallacy on nuclear steroids. Clown show. Now give us the hypothesis, like I said.
Well, something that you might understand,
give us the hypothesis.
Something that you might understand.
Give us the hypothesis.
Something that you might understand.
Give us the hypothesis.
Something that you might
understand. Stop. It's like we've got a bloody glitch. The question on the table is this scientific evidence? The answer is yes. What is the hypothesis? Simple.
And I said, go and Google it. There's tons of stuff.
Google what? Google what?
Natural selection. Evolution.
We're looking for a hypothesis.
Google genetic variation. Google Darwin. Google genes.
None of these are going to give us any hypothesis. So, sorry. You're spewing. You're just spewing. Just give me one search term. I'll do it right now. That will lead me to a hypothesis for what you have stated.
Let me have a look. I'll do it for you.
Thank you.
Oh, really? You're going to try and support your claim?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Feigned exasperation isn't needed.
Yeah.
Stop the presses.
Don't take your God's name in vain. He might smite.
That's not taking it.
I don't mind if there's a gap. He said he's going to look for his hypothesis. It's fine.
Hold on, Nathan. I'll do that for you.
Thank you.
This guy ruined your show, by the way.
That doesn't sound like a search. That sounds like you chit-chatting.
Yeah, I'm just chatting while I'm searching.
No, it's okay. I don't mind there being a pause.
Hypothesis.
While you're looking, look up Desjardins.
Hold on, he was speaking out loud. Hypothesis what?
Hold on. Do you want me to stick this in back chat? What do you want? White papers?
Hypothesis for this. I forgot. I don't want to paraphrase it incorrectly a second time. Do you want to paraphrase your claim again?
Oh, me?
Yeah, this changing characteristics. I slightly phrased it incorrectly last time and you corrected me.
I said evolution is a changing characteristics of a species over several generations that relies on a process of natural selection.
And the hypothesis for that can be found where?
I'm just going to have a look.
I can post this in live chat, leading me to believe that you'd found something.
Is this live?
Of course.
Excellent. John's a big bully.
So, a hypothesis for this change in characteristics.
Just hold on.
Nathan, he used natural selection. It's one of your favorite terms. It's a reification fallacy, specifically hypostatization.
Hypostatization, eh? The fallacy of misplaced concretedness.
Yep. Would you like me to go over it for him?
Yeah,
this
that'd
is
be great.
From yes, yes.
Don't, please.
This is I'm going to do it. It is from IEP.edu. Fallacy, hypostatization. The error of inappropriately treating an abstract term as if it were a concrete one, also known as the fallacy of misplaced concreteness and the fallacy of reification. Example: nature decides which organisms live and which die. Nature isn't capable of making decisions.
Like natural selection. So when he said at the end of his statement, by way of natural selection.
Natural selection.
Yes, natural selection.
Right. Weak die, and the best continues.
It's quite specifically laid out in that example that was just cited. Precisely
Nature
that.
doesn't have a will. The weak die, and the strong win.
So that's called the fallacy of misplaced concreteness, where you take an idea or a concept, in this case, that nature makes choices, and then you reify that idea into it being in existence, which it isn't. So this would be a logical fallacy as opposed to a hypothesis.
I don't know, it sounds like you've been watching Rationality Rules.
Not really. It's just that we asked for scientific evidence, and it turns out that this is actually a logical fallacy. But you said it was scientific, and it isn't scientific.
You don't believe evolution's scientific through it?
It isn't scientific.
You don't believe that you can take two samples from DNA and see that they're related organisms?
Oh my
God, what
a clown.
Shut up, John. You're boring.
Say that one more time, Alan. I didn't understand. I want to clarify that. I want to respond.
Are we done? Well, hold on a second, Paul. Are we done with the hypothesis? Did he find one yet? And then you can go, Paul.
No, go on, Paul. You're interested.
Yeah, I figured.
I was just summarising it. No, he didn't find a hypothesis because there isn't one. It's a reification fallacy. So he's reified this idea of natural selection, nature selecting things and deciding whether they live or die, and which ones will prosper and which ones won't. That's a reification fallacy. It's definitely not science. So although he's under the impression this is scientific evidence, it isn't.
The thing you're doing there, though, Nathan, is suggesting that nature has a will. It doesn't.
No, that's what you're doing. Now what you're doing is called projection. So you have just reified this. I made it explicitly clear that I did not know what this term meant. And then you went on to define it as science incorrectly when its actual title is a reification fallacy that you used. So I'm not reifying anything. You are guilty of a fallacious argument known as the fallacy of misplaced concretedness, because you reified natural selection.
What's wrong with natural selection?
It's not science, and that's precisely what we asked for.
You don't believe there's a science to natural selection?
It isn't for the third time. What you offered was not systematic experimentation based on hypotheses. It was the fallacy of misplaced concretedness.
Okay, I'll give you that. Go on, Paul. You want? I suggested that technology exists to identify a percentage of similarity between samples of DNA from two related organisms.
Okay.
because
Wait a minute, Anon. He wasn't talking to you. Okay. There's cars out on the road, and they actually use a lot of them use very similar parts. Sometimes the parts are interchangeable. So does that mean they came from the same location?
awesome, bro. That was great.
You're using an analogy of cars, man-made, something not natural.
No, I'm making a point, and it is an analogy. It is an analogy, but I'm making a point.
Paul, that's terrible.
Why is that terrible?
It's terrible.
Tell us why.
You said basically.
Hold on, Paul.
You said.
Hold on. I'm going to let you explain your analogy, but first, why is it terrible?
It's terrible because somebody had to create for example, the carburetor in the first place, and you could argue in a rather stupid way that they all evolved from that.
I see. So without the intelligent agent, there is no carburetor. Okay, go ahead, Paul. Do you want to explain your analogy and why it does make sense?
Nicely slipped in, Nathan.
Indeed.
I mean,
go ahead, Paul.
And my point was to say, and I'm actually more talking about origin, not necessarily manufacturer specific, because certain parts will go across Chevy, Ford's, Chrysler. A lot of the parts can also overlap into different manufacturers. I mean, it doesn't mean they came from the same source. Just because you see similarities doesn't mean it all came from the same source. That's you right off the bat. That's a logical. I think that's the wrong.
You can't even remember which.
Correlation is not causation.
Yeah, the similarity doesn't mean that this came from the same place.
But DNA says it did.
Okay.
DNA talks?
Wait. If I see the same program, a similar code in an Apple computer,
let's not make messages. Let's talk about DNA. It's.
I'm using another analogy.
I don't want an analogy about car parts or software or.
Well, it's the analogy showing that you're saying that because you see a similar code in one species of animal, and you see the same similar code in another species of animal, you're saying they all came from the same source.
You're aware.
Right?
I trust, Paul, that you're aware of dog breeding. Yeah.
That's okay. Don't go down. You're red herring at this point. Don't do that. You're saying if there's a similar code in the DNA in one species and there's a similar code in another species, that means they came from the same source. Is that what you're saying?
I use the word related.
Well, what do you mean by related then?
What do you think related means?
I'm asking you.
No, that's fair enough. What do you mean? That's fair enough to ask you, Paul. What do you mean related, Paul?
Like I have a Chromebook sitting on my table, and I have my work laptop sitting on my table. They look related, but they didn't come from the same manufacturer.
Well, in this instance, what I mean by related belongs to the same family, group, or type.
Okay, so just for clarity, hold on. They're all in the same convention, correct?
I wouldn't use the word convention.
I would.
It's a human convention.
Yeah, I would.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I would use the word convention because it's accurate.
What other word would you use it for? The taxonomic classification system, created by a creationist, by the way, Linnaeus. You know that, right? It's just a human convention to categorize things. So what would you call it?
Do you believe in kind, John?
Oh, God.
So we're back to this thing about things being related because they're all in the same convention.
No, I said same family group or type in some way.
Convention.
Use the word convention.
Yeah, we can. We are that because that's what it is. So, okay, do you want to carry on, Paul?
Well, let me take my analogy. I can actually categorize vehicles. I can categorize them. There's trucks, there's sedans, there's minivans, there's mini SUVs, there's large SUVs. I've categorized them all, put them all in the same, different categories. And then if I look within all those categories, I can see similar parts. Oh, wait a minute, some of them even have the same parts. Does that mean they all are related?
Of course they are. They're all vehicles.
I agree. I would assert that one evolved from the other, Paul.
Yeah, you got it, Nathan. You figured it out. Darn it. You got me, pinned me against the wall.
Yeah, I would say that Chrysler, essentially, because it's got the same parts in its code, basically, one grew out of the other. The Ford came out of the Chrysler. It just needed enough time to happen.
Are you starting to see this yet, Alan, at all?
No. You're
okay. I give up. I'm done.
Alan.
Just before you go, I know you've been trying and on. You can go next. I just want QE to summarise it because he can do it better than I.
Stop inviting him on.
Well, why? Because he's got a much better explanation for working inside and outside of conventions than I can concisely give.
He's a lunatic.
I'm the lunatic, but this guy believed that something could come from nothing, and ink, paper, and glue molecules could author technical instruction manuals and blueprints. And I'm the crazy one, right?
Yeah.
Ha!
You are.
Hey,
I'm the crazy detective. Real quick. I'm the crazy detective that the only reason that person's dead in the floor is its natural causes.
That's a terrible analogy.
Why?
Terrible.
Why? If there's nothing but nature, then that's natural causes. Whereas if there's intelligent agencies at play, then there's intelligent agents. It's just one or the other. It's not unreasonable what is asserted by analogy in terms of saying, well, it's obviously natural causes. There's only nature that creates everything.
No, it was simply the dead body was John in the kitchen with a crappy laptop
with the candlestick.
Go on and on. You have a go.
Yeah, sorry.
Alan,
go ahead.
Ever heard of Piltdown Man?
Yep.
Okay, so you don't find that troubling one bit?
Why would I find it troubling?
Because it was a hoax. They what is it? They basically sawed down a mandible teeth to make it look like a child gorilla or something, to make it look like it's basically a what I call missing link. It's a lie.
Chiseled pig's tooth.
There you go. So these guys are planting sawed down jawbones and pretending it's from another animal. I mean, why would I trust anything these assholes have to say?
So you think because was it one or two people that did that?
Oh, there's been a whole load of them.
Is it just one of them?
They resurface every 10 years, these fakes. They're constantly faking it.
So you think because one person did millions of pieces of evidence should be discarded?
Yeah, it went on for about 40 years. And guess how many master's thesis papers were supported by or were the subject of that chiseled fraudulent pig's tooth?
Go ahead.
32.
Yeah, a lot.
33.
33.
But I don't know why you would discard something based on just...
Because they're liars, Alan. Because they're lying to me. Because they're chiseling down teeth. That's why I don't believe them. If you don't want to believe them, that's fine.
So
we don't.
Go on. They're all liars? Everybody's a liar?
Yeah, they're all liars.
Yeah, dog. They're all
Well,
liars.
Get the book, Bones of Contention. It lists all of them.
So you think everything's a lie?
No,
Yeah.
Bro, if I come up to you, if I
pseudoscientists are liars. Pseudoscientists are liars. Your evolutionary biology pseudoscientists, your cosmologists, your astrophysicists, your astronomers, your paleontologists, anthropologists, they're all liars. Demonstratable.
So they're all wrong, and you're an unemployed.
No, they're not wrong. They're not only wrong, they're liars.
they're willfully wrong. They're willfully.
So let me get this right. They're all wrong.
You got it right. I gave it to you straight.
Yeah, okay. Let me have a chat. He's back. At ease, Corporal.
Parade.
Shut. So
secure that shit, Hudson.
Millions and millions and millions of let's say a couple of million scientists are all liars.
Pseudoscientists.
Yeah, and John in Lebanon, MO is correct.
That is
Listen. You think if any of them come out against this quote unquote theory, they're gonna have a career the next day? Do you really, really think that? How naive are you? Your picture shows that you're an old man. You shouldn't be this naive.
Alan, can I ask a question? Or can I re-ask my question? It might have got answered before, but I didn't hear it.
You can, Tony.
If the DNA exists, how did the code get put in there at the moment of inception if it wasn't creation or intelligent design?
I don't know.
Do you not think that's the question that you need to ask yourself and come to a conclusion? Because you can't just really say, I don't know, therefore evolution.
I can. There's enough evidence for evolution.
Really? What evidence is there?
Oh, Christ.
You can't even define the damn thing. Why are you running us around in circles?
Tony, put him on mute.
I just want to know why do you think that I don't know is an acceptable answer for the coder that must be coding the DNA sequence?
Because it's more acceptable than there has to be a coder.
What?
Every
example you gave had an intelligent agent. I asked you to give me a single example without one. You failed, and now you're saying it's more reasonable to assume your failure is a reasonable failure to take as read. Wrong.
You even said it was a good question.
I did.
So basically, what you're saying is you don't know how the code gets put into the sequence for life to exist, but you accept that ignorance is okay to justify your therefore consequential belief in evolution.
Tony, I'd say that I'm a layman and not a scientist.
No, but you act like you're a scientist, though.
No, I'm just here discussing. I've never pretended to be a scientist.
Hold on.
No, but you do preach.
I don't preach.
Hold on. No. Why are we talking about scientists? We asked also for your scientific evidence, and you gave us a reification fallacy. So what does it matter about scientists when the method hasn't been adhered to and there's no scientific evidence for this claim in regards to evolution?
Well, I've kind of come to the conclusion from chatting to you today that any answer that I give will be wrong.
Maybe it's wrong, though.
I'm arguing with blind faith.
Not really. How is it blind faith?
Hold on. That's perfectly. That's the first reasonable thing he said. You're arguing from a position of blind faith. Yes, correct.
No, that's not what he said. He said he's arguing with blind faith, meaning us.
Oh right, I misheard him. No, you are arguing from a position of blind faith. That's just projection. If that's what you said, I misheard you.
Yeah, that's your position.
I can understand your question, Tony, and it is quite fascinating. But
you just whistled past the graveyard by it.
But expecting a 65-year-old man from Leeds who likes to go bowling on a day, how the code in DNA and RNA got.
Well, you're the one that claimed it. You said evolution.
God, you can't have a decent comment.
I'm not asking you to explain how. I'm just asking you, do you accept that for there to be the code in the first place, that there must be a mechanism of some kind that codes it?
No, I don't.
So it has to be created?
Yes. By accident.
Did everybody catch that?
Wow.
Created by accident by who? Or what?
Hey.
Well, according to your dad, John, you were an accident.
Created by who? Even if it was an accident,
Why
right?
does somebody have to create something?
Even a bad design is design, right? You just said it was created.
Why does
by
that-
who or what?
Natural selection.
Oh God, by a reification fallacy. You,
Why
sir,
does they have
are
to
an
be a creator?
absolute train wreck.
Why does there have to be a creator?
Because we have intelligence, we have information, we have knowledge. Where does that come from?
But isn't that you just shifting responsibility onto something greater?
No, it's the moment. The moment of inception brings with it an awful lot of information, right?
Yeah.
That information has to be coded in some way. It's not that the information exists, although that is a good point. It's that it's formulated in a particular way that creates life. Now, we can't even do that. So how is it that if it's formulated in a particular way and it's down to random selection and chance, how can...
Yeah.
There has to be a coder of some kind.
Look how many sperms swim up the uterus, Tony. What is it? 21 million? That's random and chance, yes?
Yeah, but when the sperm penetrates the egg with its apparent explosive head and it gets inside the egg, there's a moment of inception that we give it a name. But that moment, something crazy happens, and 20 years later, you've got an adult. How does that happen?
You think that's God, yes.
Well, not necessarily God, but it is intelligent design of some kind because something's creating something from nothing, and it's not a big bang.
There's an egg and a sperm. It's not nothing.
Yeah, but it's the moment where the information passes from the egg to the sperm where that moment is created.
But does it not evolve? Does it not grow?
It can't evolve.
Have you not seen embryos?
Back to evolve again.
Alan,
Circle
how can it
jerking us
evolve?
around.
Alan, how
My
can it
word.
evolve? Hang on, wait. How can it evolve when it didn't exist before the moment of the inception?
Have you not seen embryos evolve?
Evolve? What's evolve?
What the hell? I've got to step in again. We've already smashed this. So what is this evolution that you defined with the reification fallacy that we're now somehow inserting into this argument? What's going on?
Sorry, Nathan, distracted. Sorry.
That's okay. Lest we forget. Evolution, not science. Reification?
Well, you don't accept it. That's fine.
No. Not I don't accept. No scientific evidence for it. Simply a reification fallacy.
No scientific evidence for evolution.
Correct. We asked. You gave 0. You did give us a reification fallacy, lest we forget. That's why I'm pointing out that using a constant assertion of something that's been debunked during this conversation is going to get my heckles up. Obviously.
There's no need to get angry. Don't be John.
Well, don't use something that I've smashed 20 minutes ago.
Look, if you want to win, I'm just having a discussion.
You aren't. You're using something we've already demolished previously in this conversation. Like it's going to slip by and not annoy us.
I'm just chatting to Tony.
No, you're not. You're using the word evolution again. Evolve? Will this embryo evolve? What? The reification fallacy that you've cited without scientific evidence that's based on these concepts? No, we won't use this anymore. It's nonsense.
So you don't believe in evolution?
No, why do you keep saying you don't believe? I'm not interested in my, your, or anyone's belief. We asked for scientific evidence. We asked for a definition of what it was. What we got was a reification fallacy. Do I care whether or not you are satisfied with my belief in your reification fallacy? Who cares?
Don't get angry for money.
Smash the super chat if you're enjoying this fundy have his ass handed to him and constantly assert his reification fallacy and rumpus me while I point out that it's already been demolished. We're not going to tolerate you rumpusing through your fundy argument being handed back to you. You've already said evolve when it's been smashed. That's why this is happening.
But you don't believe in it, so what can I say?
So back to the same circle jerk asshole position and saying that my belief in his reification fallacy is somehow pertinent to his argument. My belief in your reification fallacy, devoid of any scientific validity, is irrelevant.
Next question.
Just don't use evolve again. Anthony was talking to you. Anthony was in the middle of smashing you also, and you started to get him to justify how things evolve. That was where we got to. Now we're back on track. I'll hand back to Anthony to continue the ass whooping.
Wow, you're so angry. You're just like John.
Is this the only thing you've got to ad hom the shit out of me? Yeah? You have failed on your ass in this argument with Anthony because you've immediately appealed to something we've smashed. And now you've only got one defence. Claim I'm angry. Oh, well, let's do it with a nice smarmy smile. You're a moron. You keep using arguments we've smashed, moron. Is this too angry for you, moron? You're stupid. Ha ha ha!
So, Alan, back down to earth. The moment of inception, a lot of information passes from the sperm to the egg, and it doesn't just pass with an explosion. It magically falls into some kind of order of trillions of terabytes worth of information, or whatever value it is, in such a way that life gets resulted life is caused as a result. So the cause of the information is like the moment of inception. Without the moment of inception, that information can't pass. And the effect is we see it 20 years later. But how does the order randomly form into such a way if it's described by biology as like an explosion? Does it seem logical to think that just happens by fluke? Or perhaps there must be something that's ordering it?
I'm not so sure using the word explosion would be correct.
Well, they call it an explosive tip at the tip of the sperm head.
Right. Okay.
But my point is that it falls in an order, regardless of how you describe it. It falls in an order. Excuse me, the phone's ringing.
Okay.
That's good. That means I can shout out Sam Hind for smashing the super stickers. Thank you very much indeed, Sam Hind, for the super chat. And also Skeptic936 again. Thank you very much indeed for smashing the super chat.
Alan, I have a question that the answer is just a number. I hope you can answer this.
42.
How many times does an organization have to lie to you before you go, hey, I think they're lying. I think they're just lying a lot and they're systematically lying. How many times does that have to happen?
Which organization are you talking about?
Let's just say it doesn't matter. Let's just say the Bloods.
No,
Whatever.
go on. What
Okay.
organization? He said specifically. Give it him specifically. Give him a specific organization.
But the thing is, it's not about which I'm just asking in general. Let's say there's a group of your friends that you go bowling with. Doesn't matter who the organization is, big, small, whatever. How many times do they have to lie before you go, hey, I think these guys are liars?
But you believe everybody's a liar and on, don't you? That's what you think.
No.
God, already, Alan, come on.
No, it's just a discussion. I'm trying to
qualified it. You've got a group of bowling mates. You're down the bowl screen, and how many times, if this group of bowling mates, hypothetically, lie to you, how many times? Simple.
Just once.
Just once, eh?
Oh, great. Thank you.
NASA's a good example. Why didn't you say NASA, Anon?
It's it's not that kind of a group. It's more of a group that they go play dress up and they call themselves secret societies, those kinds of guys.
Nathan, who do you think designed the human body then?
Who do I think designed the human body?
Yeah.
I don't know. What kind of question is that?
When does an embryo become a thing?
I just know that there'd be a designer, an intelligent agent behind
Do you think
that.
it's a good design?
Excellent.
How did nothing design the human body?
There you go.
I can tell you something about this so-called creator.
Hold on, Chocolate's asking Chris. Sorry, Paul.
Who's he asking? Is he asking Chris or me?
I think he's asking Chris.
Chris, how did nothing design the human body? How did I get my eyes from nothing?
It started from single-cell organisms all the way up to what we see today. I don't know that much.
Yeah, we covered that with Alan.
But I just don't think the human body is a very good design. If like we breathe and eat through the same hole. The playgrounds next to the dump. The fucking we've got
Human body is one of the most flexible things ever.
No, it's not.
Yes,
no. Up
using
until
the
we got
human
years
body.
ago, we were fucking dying like flies. The infant mortality rates were.
One at a time, please. One at a time.
Thanks, Alan. I think I can cope.
Touchy. I mean, For example, why are the testicles on the outside? Shocking piece of design.
Do you want the answer? To regulate the temperature. They're not always on the outside either.
Depends how tight they are.
Well, that ruins that argument. Anyway,
Yeah,
so how
because
does this link
sperm
back?
have to be kept at a lower temperature.
Right.
How did nothing decide that sperm would have to be kept at a lower temperature outside of the body in order to maintain function? How
Right.
did nothing decide that?
Good question.
You don't believe in evolution or natural selection.
Why
so...
do we?
Not a belief. There's no scientific evidence for evolution. That's the end of that argument. It's not that we have a belief in your reification
Why do we have the
fallacy.
vestige of a
Again, Chris.
Why do we have the vestige of a nictitating membrane in the corner of our eye?
I don't know. I don't know.
Like,
I'm
where
not a
did that-
biologist. Why are you asking these questions? How does this relate to the nature of
Well,
existence and the
because-
creation thereof?
What he's saying, Nathan, is that
Well, I
you
thought we were talking about evolution and
Oh, wait,
designing.
you mean the design of an eye has supposedly an element that biologists haven't explained yet? Is that it? To suggest that there could be
there's in the
random
corner of our eye,
remnants
we
left
have
from
something
evolution in the
Hold on,
past
Owen. You've got to
somehow?
let him answer.
In the
Would be
corner of our
interesting.
eyes, right, the inner corner, we have something called a nictitating membrane or a vestige of it. And this, in other mammals, covers the eye. Like it's like a second eyelid, right?
Right.
And so we have a vestige of that in the corner of our eyes.
So how does an explosion...
Hold on, he hasn't made his
of nothing-
conclusion. Hold on. And
What?
Well, what's
And
your
what is
point?
Well, I'm wondering why it would be there. Why would we have that?
But I don't know. But what does that prove? That I don't know
Is there
why we have a
logical-
particular.
Pretty sure it's
It
gonna have a
proves
function.
that it was something that was used with a common answer.
From a
Or
common
maybe
ancestor.
something that can still be used.
Hold on.
I can explain this.
when
Hold
it is
on. I
required
just want him to
adapt.
actually make his claim before people pounce on him. How do you draw that conclusion, Chris?
Sorry?
You said it's a remnant from our common ancestors. How do you draw that
Yeah.
conclusion?
Well, why else would it be there?
Don't ask me something. It's your positive
Can I-
assertion.
May I?
It's my positive assertion.
Yeah.
Okay,
I
can I
don't
say
know that.
something?
Sorry, you've got an assertion that it's a leftover from our previous
That's
ancestors. Yeah, and I'm asking, how the hell do you draw that conclusion?
Well, we can see it in, other mammals where it's used.
So earlier, Paul made a comparison between Fords and Chevys. Did you hear the comparison, the analogy? Right. So if you have a classification system, just because you can arbitrarily classify things in the same groups, doesn't mean that you can work outside of that classification system to link the two together. It's just a classification system.
And can I say something
Right.
regarding that a little bit?
Just let Chris respond and then feel free, Paul.
What have I to respond to? But because some car parts are found in other cars, what?
Well, yeah, that was kind of like you saying that these residual leftovers that you assume have come from a predecessor are from a predecessor because other species have them in a similar form. And I'm comparing and contrasting that to Chevys and Fords using similar
I think
parts.
that's an unfair analogy. I think that's an unfair analogy. I mean, right, so let's say we were designed in, and the designer decides, all right, I'll put up a little vestige of a nictitating membrane in the corner. Like every car part, every part you find in a car has a use, right? It's all there for a reason.
Can I respond to this,
You don't
Nathan,
find
for a
any
second?
vestiges in cars, vestigial car parts.
Do you know what the appendix is?
Got 20 seconds, Paul. Go ahead.
The appendix.
I'm aware of it.
Okay. They, for a long time, biologists and anatomists didn't know what an appendix was for. It just looked like an extra piece of tissue. And that's honestly, for a long time, why they removed it, because it would get inflamed. But they come to find out that the appendix is actually very much part of the immune system. They found out this later. Just because you see something in the body, and it may look similar to something else, just because you can't identify what its necessary usage is, doesn't mean that it might not be necessary for the function. Can I draw that analogy?
Okay, I'll do a quick shout out to James Richard for the super chat. It says, an infant cannot raise itself, food, water, clothes. Thus, man and woman was created as adults at the same time with knowledge. It's the only way. And with that, I'll say, if you are watching on the Nathan Oakley 1980 premiering stream, then stay tuned, as there will be an after show to follow. Unfortunately, if you are watching this on the Nathan Oakley premiering stream, live stream, unfortunately, this is where we bid you farewell. A massive, huge, enormous thank you to all of you. Smashed the super chat, liked, commented, shared, subscribed, and all that good stuff. Of course, a massive thank you to all of today's live debating panel for making this show possible. I've been Nathan Oakley. Stay tuned if you're watching on Nathan Oakley 1980, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
John, you there?
You know, I still haven't had breakfast.
So are we going down to the after?
It's just the calm before the storm.
Oh, Alan has left, by the way, so...
Yeah, I wanted to give him kudos before he went, because he tolerated, like, a lot of people on top of him. I know he was obfuscating every which way, but doesn't matter. He still stayed, and, you know, I thought he did quite well. Good sport. If you listen to this, Alan, kudos. No one gonna retract that? Fair enough.
What?
Nothing.
Oh, retract Alan's shout out?
No, not necessarily.
We've had worse.
Absolutely. Definitely. No, he played along the whole time. I thought he did quite well at obfuscating.
Arwen, when are you due to go on the tour?
Huh?
When are you due to go on the tour?
Well, this weekend, I guess. If I survive it that long. I'm so nervous. It's not funny anymore. Still
Remember, make no claims.
What?
Make no claims.
What do you mean?
Don't tell people that the Earth's flat. Just ask them that just say you can't prove that it's a ball.
What? No, not nervous. No, not nervous about live performing, considering flat Earth. No, just freaking nervous about actually going away from my house, very far away, for the first time since 6 years, and suddenly meeting all kinds of new people, and basically going on a trip with them after only having met them face to face for a day. It really makes me nervous, even though I do think it'll probably be a good thing, you know? I'm enthusiastic at the same time, but I'm just like this freaking nervousness. I used to have it very bad in the past as well. So, I'm just terrible right now. Didn't sleep.
What's going on? What's going on in the background? Got a lot of background noise.
That's me. Do you know what I'm undoing right now, Arwen? I'm unwrapping something that I've got to bring to you now. Can you guess what it is?
Yeah. Ranty's broken P900.
Not broken.
No, he was making a joke about that at a very annoying moment.
I've just done an unboxing on my recording of your. It just arrived. My wife brought it into me, and I'm like, "Oh, brilliant! I'll unbox that."
Okay, just make sure you delete any porn you made on there.
Just taking a picture down my trousers right now. Looks nice. It looks in nice condition, actually. There's nothing wrong with this camera.
Awesome.
I mean, there's a bit of paint on the camera, obviously. He's held it with the painty hand at some point, but other than that, it looks in really nice nick.
Oh,
no lens cover.
Looking forward to it a lot. I'm very enthusiastic about the camera. Also, the option that I have that camera pretty much available with me during that trip. It's just an exciting prospect. It's like, oh, I'm going someplace, and I actually have a great camera now. So,
say that again, Anthony.
I heard they had problems getting it.
Oh, that wasn't Anthony.
You broke up.
I never said anything, John. It was Chris.
Hey, don't go
I
anywhere.
said I heard that the Globe Euro Tour had problems, some sort of licensing problem with the vehicle or something.
Oh, who cares? Hey, Anthony.
No, that was
resolved. Anthony, don't go anywhere after this. Is the live show over? Sorry.
I'm good.
It's over, John.
Okay. Yeah, don't go anywhere, Anthony. I got to talk to you after you're done. After we're done here.
Can you do the move?
Oh, yeah. Sorry about that. I just got back. Sorry to interrupt. Yeah, I can move him.
So what was it, Arwen? Because that's what I was told.
Well, no, there's not really licensing issue. There was some environmental regulations issue that they may not be able to enter big city centers with that van because it's a diesel.
Don't worry about it.
The stank
It's not important. It's not important. Don't worry about it.
The stank van.
Maybe. Doesn't matter anyway. Now, my
Could you
primary
imagine the smell in
concern
that
is
van after a night on the road?
what? What were you saying?
Ah, the magic of watching them all get booted to the after show.
I love that control, man. Hey, just to give you an update on the piece on QE's PC-a-thon.
Shameless.
$560.
Oh, you're only $40 off.
$550. Don't look at the $438 inside the GoFundMe because a couple people PayPal'd me.
Are you building it yourself, John?
So $550 at this point. Just want to
Are
let
you
you
buying
know.
a ready-made one or pre-built?
It's a rebuilt.
You buying
computer.
a pre-built, John?
It is rebuilt, refurbished, but it's got 3.7 gigahertz clock speed and 4 cores. That's what I need.
Clock speed's not everything these days.
No.
Yeah, but it is for me.
It's just more than he's got. He's got
It
2
is if
cores.
you're running OBS. You need 4 cores and you need at least 3 gigahertz. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to do stuff.
We did that.
It's powerful
for me just yesterday, right?
Say again, Chocolate.
So didn't we just do that yesterday, right?
Yes.
One day. Nice.
That's what you should aim for. You should aim for your GoFundMe campaign to be summed up in a day. If you think your target's going to take far longer than that, you're probably over ambitious with your target. I mean, don't get me wrong. There are certain things that you can't help it, like Ranty's camera took a bit longer, but the vast majority of it, 80% of it, was like in the first couple of days. That's just how it is. But it's good in a way because you're going to need peripherals. I know I was like, just ask for a modest amount, $500 or $600, which you did do. But I know that the computer that you've sought out, albeit refurbished, is probably $800, correct?
Yeah, the total is a little over 800, but I didn't want to put that out in a GoFundMe.
No, and I'm glad you didn't. I'm glad you didn't because it's you're better off asking for a modest amount, and I'm sure people will be pleased to hear that you're just going to buy a refurbished computer because that's obviously budget sensitive, conscious, and all that. You're not going out for some super duper brand spanking new machine, which is good because it means you'll get better value for your money, which has been raised by other people contributing, which is great. But ultimately, a couple of people sent you a few PayPals. You'll have enough money to cover the computer and hopefully buy a couple of peripherals for it.
Yes, I ran into a big problem, and Chris MCM, that is so funny. During the actual PC-a-thon, said, "John, you dipshit, why did you just get a TV?" Well, I had a problem because of this roll-top desk that I have. This thing's like a Sherman tank. My main monitor's good, no problem. Got a 24-inch Asus. It's outstanding. But I need that second monitor, and my laptop was the second monitor, but I only have 12.5 inches height in that second space.
I got
Try to find a monitor that's smaller than 12.5 inches. You ain't gonna find one. It ain't happening. I searched for 6 hours trying to find one.
Why don't you get yourself a desk that was made in this century, John? Like,
it was
why
made
do you
in
have a roll-top desk?
Yeah, that's
Why do you have a roll-top desk, man? I had one of those when I was a kid.
It's a roll-top desk. This thing's solid oak. It's huge, right? But it's not that it's old.
How was I
It's
supposed to
roll-top,
know you
right?
had a fucking height restriction, John? Like, how was I supposed?
What?
Said take a hacksaw to the shelf above, and then you'll get it on.
You can't hacksaw this.
Yeah,
Ain't
Chris.
gonna happen,
Yeah,
man.
what's your problem?
No, it's no problem. I found a TV 12.3 inches high and 19 inches wide.
Oh, that seems
a TV.
fuck off.
Right, are we talking across purposes? You found a transvestite 12.5 inches? What?
Not a transvestite, a TV.
I thought you were talking about some guy you'd got to sort the computer out for you. I'm totally lost now.
No, I needed an additional monitor because
He needs
you
a
can't
second
run-
monitor, and he's got
Oh my God!
a height
Just talk over
restriction.
me. Just talk over me, Chris. He's asking me a question. Just talk over me. Go ahead.
That was just a cheap sexual joke.
Jeez, oh man. So, right. Okay, has anyone got anything else to say? Go ahead.
You know that 12 inches that you said, John, in height?
Yeah, 12.5.
12.5, yeah. I got that in girth.
That's fascinating. Right.
Oh Jesus.
Let's keep it family. Let's keep it family friendly. I know it's only innuendo, but that soon descends.
Thanks a lot, Anthony. Listen, so I went up to Walmart, the local Walmart. I'm sitting there, dude, I need a computer monitor. All of them were too big, obviously. I knew that. He goes, "Have you thought about a TV?" And I said, "No." He goes, "Let me show you this 19-inch. We pulled it out of the box, and with the stand is 12.3 inches and 19 across. It's perfect. Got HDMI port. Perfect. So, yeah.
Why don't you just
That's
get a
coming.
big TV, like a big 40-inch, and just use a little window in the side?
Oh, geez, oh man. I guess you've lost the plot of the story.
No, what he's saying is why not get a 4K monitor and just have one, which is precisely what I did. Well, I've still got two, but yeah.
Well, remember the part of the story where I said I got a roll top desk?
What's the...
I do.
Remember that part?
Alrighty then.
Let's see.
Anybody who ever criticises me again for talking about passively cooling my PC, just know everyone's just as bad when they're buying equipment to do their streaming with. Suddenly it becomes super interesting to them.
yeah, that's a good way to kill the conversation.
Hey, I tell you what's become super interesting. You know when ballers don't tend to accept evidence to prove points. They tend to accept stories, narratives, logical, reasonable explanations rather than actual evidence.
No, wiki.
Yeah, it's funny how suddenly when they come to look at my paper, they all become fucking evidence experts. It's amazing, remarkable how they instantly want evidence.
And how's that going, by the way, Anthony?
Just gotta wait for them. It's out of my hands, isn't it now?
Yeah, they're just quibbling about nonsensical buffoonery. Do they even know or understand the small point the paper is trying to make?
Most of them have missed it. I think Gem Panda's finally onto the point it was making, but most of them have missed it. They still think I'm arguing for flat Earth, even though I only said the word flat twice in the whole fucking document.
Can I try and summarize?
Yeah.
Let me see if I got this. Now, I haven't read the paper. I haven't seen the paper. Let me see if I can summarize. The charge is against the government or teachers, one or the other, that are parroting pseudoscience as validated science.
Correct.
Thank you.
In the teaching of any subject in the school. So it says that they're not allowed to teach one-sided, dogmatic, without proper tuition or debate subjects. And I'm like, yep, that's fucking heliocentrism.
Mm-hmm.
Wait,
What's interesting,
wasn't that the premise from the beginning?
Yeah. It's interesting because
So
what they're
wait,
doing.
so people still
Anthony,
don't
why
get
didn't you
that?
put the paper through Grammarly, like to check the
No,
errors?
they're
'Cause
like
it had a
they're
lot
like
of
Chris
fucking.
MCM. They're quibbling over friggin' grammar and punctuation and spelling errors.
Well,
That's
to
what
be
they're
honest,
Well, I
talking
mean,
about.
it's if you're
no,
going
there's a legit
to
question for that.
present the
There's a
paper.
legit answer. They said to me that you're not allowed to you're not allowed to use third-party agents to enhance the presentation of your whatever. In other words, they're expecting typographical mistakes. They don't want it to be perfect. Literally, one of the things I had to sign said, "I have not run this through." I don't think it said Grammarly. I think it said something else, but it was basically Grammarly because they don't want to see it perfect. That was the way I read it. And they said you can't use external sources to correct typographical or grammatical mistakes. They want to see them. So I didn't. And I don't think it'll be a problem in the long term. I think that the bigger problem is the formatting side of it. But at some point, they're going to give it me back and say, hey, man, you can't do this. This is like criticizing our whole fucking ethos. And I'm like, hey, man, law still applies.
Wait, so they specifically told you to not correct your paper before handing it in?
No, they didn't say not correct it. They said you've got to do this work entirely on your own self. You can't have anybody else helping you, and you also can't use third-party software agents to correct force,
I really find that hard to
spelling, punctuation, and grammar, something along them lines. There was 5 things I had to sign, and that was one of them, saying that I hadn't done it, which I'll probably get it back at some point anyway, because the teacher's going to say to me, you haven't even done a contents page, for example. And then I'm going to say to them, yeah, that's because you should have been telling me what the format was, morons. So it's going to get political very quickly, but it's interesting that the word political is the word that they're all bandying around, and I'm like, yeah, it's very political.
I saw Lottie said that you did run it through Grammarly, and your version said it had.
No, he hasn't. He's not allowed to. He's had to sign a disclaimer to say he won't.
Right, but I'm just saying what I've heard.
No, they wanted it to be 100% of my own work. They didn't want it to be any work done by agents. So you're not meant to get it proofread. You're not meant to get it spell checked. It's supposed to be 100% of your own work. They were really funny over it. And I thought, when I read that, I was like, yeah, I better not do this. I'll just check it. I'll skim read it myself and do it myself and just minimize the risk of it myself. Because if I put it in, it's perfect. They're going to know it's been done, aren't they? And the other thing is as well, if I get it back, which I'm expecting to get it back, but if I do get it back for SPG related reasons, then that's the reason why I can say to them, hey guys, you need to give me the help here that I need to get this through, because they've given me zero support and they're supposed to be giving me support.
So, any other objections besides spelling errors? Clown shows.
Yeah, they don't like the word political.
Just wondering, but didn't you say previously that your version of Grammarly claimed that?
No, not mine. I didn't run mine through Grammarly. Somebody else has told me that.
All right, so Lottie's just making.
I don't know where Grammarly's come into this. I have not used Grammarly, obviously, as you can tell.
Right, but
Chris,
Lottie
that
said
surprises you that
when
somebody
you put it
would
through
make something
Grammarly,
up
I'd
about
know
Riley.
it's claimed I'd...
That surprises you, Chris?
What?
That somebody would make something up about Riley? That surprises you? Come on, man.
I just find it hard to believe that a university wouldn't allow you to use like a spell checker or a Grammarly or a grammar checker, which is usually built into like Microsoft Word.
All right, believe it.
Right. Well, I mean, I'll believe it if I see, you know, that thing that you allegedly signed in it, and it specifically says, "Do not use spell checker. Do not use a grammar checker."
Who really cares about that nonsense? It's an appeal to style format fallacy. Yeah, he's in academic. He's in an academic area. It
Appeal
should
to
be
style format fallacy. Well, fucking hell.
I'm all right with the criticisms of SPG. I'm all right with that. It's superficial and it can be fixed very easily.
Right.
And you guys have done proofreading for me, so thanks for that.
Yeah,
I mean,
you're doing his job, and it's all well and good. It should be professional since he's an educational institution. However, that's besides the point. Deal with the substance of the topic and the
An
charges brought
appeal to
against
style
you
and
and
format
them.
fallacy. When did you make that one up?
What? I didn't make it up.
Just Google it, Chris.
Okay.
What the hell is he talking about now? See, this is another red herring fallacy.
Appeal to
Deal
style
with
and
deal with the substance of the subject or the topic of the paper and the claims
the topic
brought
is
against
why
you
didn't you run
and
the
them.
paper through Grammarly?
Stop over
Just, you
talking
know,
me.
give it a cut.
Stop over talking me.
I can't find an appeal to style and format fallacy.
Because you're a moron. That's why.
I believe I believe that's called a fallacy.
Oh God.
Oh, I'll have this one. What do you think the fallacy
make
is?
up.
What's the fallacy?
Or you just...
What's the fallacy?
Fallacy is when you use a fallacy or you make one up or you get it wrong. Like you say, that's a red herring fallacy when it's not.
That's incorrect. The fallacy is... That's completely wrong. So the fallacy is where you make an argument for something that uses fallacious logic, but by debunking the fallacy, you inadvertently assert that it's an incorrect statement. So for the sake of argument, if I was to say that, let's take it as read, that I've got a car in front of me right now, and that car is red, yeah? And I make a fallacious argument for the car being red, and you, as my opponent, point out that the car can't possibly be red because I've used a logical fallacy to argue that it is red. That would be the fallacy. I thank you.
He charges me with something he doesn't even know what it friggin' means.
Typical
balltard.
His claim was an incorrect... What you're actually claiming isn't the fallacy. It's the incorrect use of a fallacy according to you.
Yeah, when you claim that the fallacy invalidates your argument.
Yeah, it does. It renders it void. Yeah, it does.
Right, but when it doesn't, that's the fallacy.
Yeah, it does. Because a fallacy is fallacious reasoning to reach a point. It voids
that's super.
your argument. Stop over talking me.
Did you?
It voids.
Did you submit the paper?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
See, that's all these baltards can do is friggin' rumpus. They're idiots. Diarrhea of the mouth, Tourette's. That's all they got.
Did you submit the paper, Anthony?
Yeah, weeks ago.
Electronically?
manually. I had to physically drive for 3 hours there, 3 hours back, plus traffic and bad weather. It was a bitch.
And he put it in a yellow
Do you expect
folder.
to get a master's from this?
Clown.
Say again?
Do you expect to get your master's from this?
Eventually. I don't think I'll get it straight away. I think they'll give it me back and say, "What the fuck do you think you're doing?" And I'll say, "Just fucking sign it off." But yes, to answer your question in shorthand, yes.
Oh yeah, I heard that you approached some lawyers. What's going?
You're clipping, Chris. I don't know if you need to turn your mic sensitivity up a bit or turn your gate down a bit.
Oh, right. I heard that you approached some lawyers and they were going to maybe take your case on, or
take my case on. No. Oh, that was a long time ago, and FE Core kind of told me to put it on the back burner for now, and then I ended up leaving when Nathan got his head chopped off by Bob. So it's kind of just fizzled away.
That was unrelated to this, though. Just for clarity.
I heard that you approached a law firm and they were considering taking on the case.
Perhaps you've missed some story or someone's made shit up. I haven't approached anybody.
I just want to bring clarity. That's an unrelated, totally unrelated aside issue. Nothing to do with this submission.
Yeah, I think that was a long time ago, Chris. Either that or someone's making shit up.
I'm just asking generally about the paper.
Yeah, you're not asking about the paper. You're asking generally about whether I've got ulterior motives.
I'm not.
Chris, you sound shit. You're clipping really bad.
I'm clipping.
The beginning of what you're saying and the end of what you're saying.
Let me check my mic. Give me a
Hey, John.
Maybe it's my push to.
I think it might be.
Lou?
Yeah, it's all kind of gone quiet, Arwin.
Right. Chris, have you had a chance to read the paper, or have you not had a chance to read it yet?
I've not read it fully, no. I've skimmed through it.
Skimmed through it? It's 33 pages long.
Oh my God. What's the point of the paper?
It's about fucking teaching the heliocentric model without teaching an alternative. And
not bad.
Well,
not bad. Not bad.
Close. Yeah.
And you're using an inconvenient truth as precedent.
No, that's a parallel with partisan political views being taught. Although in that example, it's an overtly political video. But the example in terms of the judgment, I'm nearly there, Chris. I'm nearly there.
I'm sorry.
There's a precedent set down that makes it explicitly clear that it's not directly, or it hasn't got to be expressly party political. I.e., for example, when, I don't know, an education issue's going through the process of actually being decided, it's party political, which this isn't. However, what's the case? I've already forgotten, Anthony.
Demic versus.
That's it. Well done, Chris. Well done. Yes, precisely.
Like, didn't you approach a law firm to have like Riley versus?
No.
I was sure that's what I heard.
No. Upon a change in legislation, there is an opportunity for part of the legislation to become under challenge. Now, upon an opening, which there isn't currently and wasn't then, there may have been an opportunity to approach a law firm to actually challenge legislation as it's being made, i.e. when it's party political, if you want to phrase it in that manner. Well, while that investigation took place. It was nothing to do with Anthony's current masters. It's sod all to do with it. It's literally a completely separate thing.
I just heard that FE Core were, going to fund the case, and you were going to do like basically a Dimmock versus, I don't know what the, I don't know who would you be going against the government?
No, that's upon the formation of legislation, but that, as I've just said, would have to come upon it being legislated, or there being a legislative change within the curriculum, or within the...
Yeah, good luck with that.
Yeah, well, that hasn't happened. But as Anthony said, that was something that was being developed in case it did. But then his ties with FE Core got severed, so it's been essentially shelved. Anyway, I'm going to round out this after show on that note. So a huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of you who tuned in on the Nathan Oakley 1980 premiering stream, for hopefully smashing the super chat, liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, and all that good stuff. Also, of course, a massive thank you to all of today's panel for making this after show possible. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!